tonight, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy telling reporters he is okay with embattled Republican George Santos attending classified briefings. The full House is set to be briefed on China tomorrow morning. And this comes with Santos defending himself against attacks from Senator Mitt Romney, who told him that he didn't belong in Congress during this tense exchange just before last night's State of the Union.
It's not the first time in history that I've been told to shut up and go to the back of the room, especially by people who come from a privileged background. And it's not going to be the last, and I'm never going to shut up and go to the back of the room. And I think it's reprehensible that the senator would say such a thing to me in the demeaning way he said. It wasn't very Mormon of him. That's what I can tell you.
Thinking about privilege. Well, Santos facing growing calls to resign, not because of privilege, but because of his many lies, with one of his fellow Republicans calling him a, quote, sociopath today. Eva McKend is out front.
New York 3, Santos free.
The spate of lies from freshman Congressman George Santos have done more than anger his constituents. It's also raising serious questions about why Santos constantly lies.
When we're talking about pathological lying, we have a clear-cut example in the headlines every day.
Christian Hart is a psychologist who directs the Human Deception Laboratory at Texas Women's University. What is a pathological liar?
Someone who has a maladaptive pattern of lying. The person tends to lie excessively, so they're prolifically lying, telling the lies typically cause a lot of problems in their life. Problems with relationships, problems in the workplace, sometimes legal problems.
Among Santos's lies that have been exposed in the months following his election include,
I actually went to school on a volleyball scholarship.
My mom was a 9/11 survivor.
I'm a Latino Jew.
My grandparents survived the Holocaust.
I also founded my own nonprofit organization.
While it's still unclear what is motivating Santos's lies, psychologists like Hart say there's always a reason.
People don't lie at random. They believe there won't be repercussions for their lying. And then also they can somehow morally justify their lying or prove to themselves that they're still an okay person.
I've lived an honest life. I've never been accused, sued of any bad doing.
Without meeting Santos, he can't diagnose him, but says his pervasive lying does say something about him.
When we see people telling egregious lies like that, and there appears to be a lifelong pattern associated with it, I would say certainly he seems to be the type of person who's engaging in pathological lying.
There was this moment at the State of the Union address where Senator Romney approached him, and he didn't seem apologetic at all.
We see this pattern a lot in people with psychopathic tendencies or people with antisocial personality disorders. And in those cases, what we find is that those people are extremely comfortable manipulating and using and exploiting people, and they do so with very little guilt or shame and tend not to have remorse.
And Hart says that for those that are pathological liars, it's not so easy to detect.
He seemed to be making a completely truthful and compelling case. It's only when we look for the evidence that we see that that was a lie.
And new tonight, Aaron, our colleague Kit Marr has learned Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia of California, he's introducing a resolution to expel Congressman Santos tomorrow. Now, this is significant because this marks the first official expulsion resolution that has been introduced against the Long Island Republican. But don't expect this to go far. That resolution not anticipated to be brought up for a floor vote in the Republican-led House and will instead be referred to the Ethics Committee. Aaron?
All right. Eva, thank you very much for your reporting. And now let's bring in Republican Congressman Anthony D'Esposito of New York, who was the first House Republican to call on Santos to step down. And Congressman, I really appreciate your time. So the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tells CNN tonight he's okay with Santos attending tomorrow's briefing on China. It's a classified briefing. Do you agree with that?
Well, I definitely do have some concerns. I think the fact that George Santos, we didn't feel should have the ability to serve on committees. I don't think that he should be on serving, or hearing any briefings either. I've told my staff that any letters that are being sent out, group letters about certain policies, if George Santos' name on it, I don't want to be involved. I'd rather send one on my own. He's taken this institution and really made it a laughingstock. I mean, people from throughout this country are now focused, and George Santos has become somewhat of a household name, and it's not for anything good. I mean, when you are constantly on Saturday Night Live and the nightly shows being mocked because you literally lied your way to the halls of the United States Congress. I agree with my colleagues from New York and Long Island, and I agree with what Senator Romney said last night. There was just no reason for Santos to even be there, and definitely not sitting on the aisle, because he knew that he was going to catch the eyes of cameras and journalists, and that's exactly what he wants, and that's exactly what he likes.
Yeah, it was clear he wanted that. Now, the House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, of course, has refused to join you, Congressman, in calling on Santos to resign. His most recent quote is, "If ethics finds something, we'll take action." And he's referring to the Ethics Committee. I'm sure, broadly speaking, he understands where we are ethically on this issue. He's talking about the committee itself. Is that enough in your view?
Listen, I think that the Speaker has taken this role as our leader, and he's looking at this issue from a broad view. And I think that he's making the best decisions for all of us and for this institution. And I know that we've had conversations, many of the New York delegation that have called for his resignation. We've had conversations with all of the leadership. They've been super open and supportive. They understand that where we're coming from. And I believe that Speaker McCarthy has the best interest of all of us at hand. And I know that when ethics reviews this, I think we're all pretty clear where that's going to end up.
Right. And I think it's important, as you emphasize, you all are from where he's from, right? This is in New York, and speaking from, this isn't someone coming from far away. Last night, I know, was your first State of the Union address as a member of Congress, but it was unlike any that we've ever seen, or certainly that you would have seen as a viewer, but you were in the room. Some of your fellow Republicans heckled President Biden. Here's just one example.
Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. You got it.
Now, of course, Congressman, that wasn't the majority of your party, and the president made that clear. But there were plenty of them, right? And it was constant. It was heckling. Do you think it was appropriate?
I think people are frustrated. Some of the things that the president said, although I think he meant well and he did explain and try to put forth a bipartisan future for all of us and for America, I think there were certain issues that he focused on that perhaps he wasn't lying, but he definitely wasn't giving the whole truth. And, I don't want to speak for any of my colleagues, but I know that there was some frustration there, many issues that I guess they've been dealing with for longer than I've been in Congress, and it seemed that the president didn't really want to focus on the specific truths. And like I said, I think there was some frustration that probably got the best of some people.
Congressman, thank you very much. I appreciate your time tonight.